You've just finished editing your video in Premiere Pro. It looks great, but now you need to create your YouTube thumbnail, need to resize and get clips for your reels and things like that. And you need to resize all those things for social media and even schedule those. But all of those can be done inside of today's sponsor, Adobe Express. Let me show you how I go from Premiere Pro into Adobe Express to make sure all of my content is created and scheduled all in one spot. Let's dive in and take a look. So when I finish a video inside of Premiere Pro, I'm going to come around and I'm going to start looking for a clip from that video where I can take a screen grab. Maybe at the end of the videos I start doing kind of like poses to kind of like be able to grab those images from Premiere Pro into Adobe Express, because a lot of the time when I'm talking I don't actually look like I'm smiling, so maybe that's something I need to work on better. Anyway, here we are inside of Premiere Pro, and all to do is we click on this little icon down the bottom here, and that's going to export that frame. I export that frame into Adobe Express. Now from here I will then use the background remover tool, and we can see here that that's removed the background really easily for us. Let me just select this one because that I've kind of like moved forward. So we can see there I removed the background, and we can see now that I could like position myself here, but I look a little bit blurry. So what we can come down is we can come down to the auto enhance. That's going to then brighten me up, and these tools all inside Adobe Express really help. We then come down to the adjust panel, and I can actually sharpen this image up a little bit to make myself look that little bit sharper. And then I can come over to the effects panel and add either a glow or something like that. So I'm kind of like starting to decide kind of like what I look like on the thumbnail before I bring in all of the other elements. And then what I'll do is I will then bring in my maybe an old thumbnail. I'll load that in there and then start working on the actual thumbnail design. And Adobe Express makes this really easy because I can access all of my brand kits to make sure that I've got all of my images and my colors and my fonts that I use on all of my thumbnails, and I can quickly apply all of those. I can either come over to the brands and click apply brand to an actual like template or something like that I can choose from. There's thousands of templates that you can choose from inside of Adobe Express. You can just come down to the templates option and type in here YouTube, and you can choose from thousands of YouTube thumbnails. You can see there's over 13,000 results here for YouTube thumbnails. So if you can't find something there, you can create something yourself, but I always like to start from a YouTube thumbnail or one that I've created previously. And now I've got my YouTube thumbnail, I'm going to then dive back in and I'm going to select that thumbnail that I want to use, and I'm going to use the Resize tool. Make it so easy. I can click on Resize here and I can make and change that to an Instagram story, because quite often I'll be changing and added this to my Instagram because I'll put that on there to say I've got a new video out and here's where you can go and watch the full video. I just click duplicate and resize, and then in a few moments we've then got our actual reel or Instagram story that we've got here. I can add in some animation by just coming over to the animate all option or selecting an element and choosing how I want to animate this. So on this particular one here, I've just chosen just to animate that item coming in there, and then I'll have a link and add that inside of Instagram. But I can also choose to share and schedule this to my Instagram story just by using the schedule tool, and if you've not used that, I do have a full walkthrough of that I'll link up here. Now the next tool I want to show you inside of Adobe Express is Clip Maker. Now not enough people in my opinion are using Clip Maker. You can take a full video and then break that up into shorter videos, and the AI inside of the Clip Maker inside of Adobe Express will pick out those key moments from your video. Let's dive in and let me show you. So you're going to come over to Adobe Express and you're going to click on this plus button up here, and then you're going to search for Clip Maker. This is the Clip Maker option here. We're going to click on this, and that's going to then open up. Now the full length video has to be within or under 1 GB in size, and the clip also has to be within 1 minute to up to 2 hours in length. If it's over 1 GB and longer than 2 hours, it won't import there. There is also a demo video that you can bring in here, but you can bring in your video here And also it does have to be in English and includes speech. You can then choose the aspect ratio of whether you want this to be a reel or a landscape, portrait, square, or keep it the original size. Most of the time I will choose reel and story. I will add captions I want it to add in my captions. It'll then go away and analyze those videos for you and find some of those key moments that you can then share as reels and share those as Instagram reels. You can share them as YouTube shorts. You can share them to your TikTok, whichever social media platform you want to do. And then if you want to, you can also still then resize them afterwards. But after a few moments, this is what it's going to come back with. And we've got clips here that range from 30 to 40 seconds long. And we can kind of like have a look at each of those. We can play them back inside of the clip maker here. We can change the way our captions look. We can change the blocks on those. We're going to then change and add our custom colors on here, and we can then play those back and have a look at what they look like. But they are all there. We just open these up in the editor and it's going to open up all of these clips for us. And now we've got all of our clips here. You can see each of our clips is down here as different kind of like pages within this. We can come over, we can edit the timeline. If there was a particular section here that we thought like, well, actually, we've got like a landscape part there, but we want to kind of like zoom in on that a little bit. You can still come in and edit those to zoom in on a particular part if that's what you were talking about and move these around. And you also do have the enhanced speech option here, should you need to do that. And you can record all sorts of like voiceovers if you needed to or wanted to do that. But you can then now just download these and post those to your YouTube. However, if you want to post these to Instagram or TikTok, you can just click on the share option up here, and that's going to then open up the schedule tool. And in here, we just choose the channel that we want to schedule this to. You might see if you have it on post, it's because we've done this as a reel. So you just need to change that to a reel. Type in a few short sentences about what your video is about. Click on generate, and it's going to give you a generated caption of what you can actually add to this caption. You just click on insert, and that's going to replace it. And then you can just come in. I don't like to add too many emojis with mine, and I might want to try and change a few bits, remove a few of these hashtags, replace those with other ones that I want to do. You can add in a reel cover, so you can go and edit and create your reel cover for this, add that into here, and then schedule that to your Instagram, all within inside of Adobe Express. Give this workflow a go yourself using Adobe Express and let me know which parts are going to speed up your workflow down in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. And until next time, thank you very much and bye for now. So to find Clipmaker, you're going to come over to the Plubus. What's a Plubus? We're going to come over and find the Plubus button. So you're going to come over into Adobe Express. You're going to click on this Plubus button. I've done it again. So you're going to come over to Adobe Express and you're going to click on this blue plus button, which is easy for me to say, and I didn't say that right the first few times, so I'm going to do that again.